Welcome to the Behind the Bar podcast. Today we've got our 2025 lawyer winners, Mike and Tommy. If you could just introduce yourself, from which pub you're from, and just a little bit about yourselves.
Cool. Well, I'm Tommy.
I'm Mike.
We're from the Three Horseshoes in Witney, 2025 licensees of the year.
Yes, winners, yes.
And if we just go into a bit of your past, how did you come to the Three Horseshoes? How long have you been there? Why did you pick the Three Horseshoes?
Do you want to go?
Yeah, well, I actually previously worked at the Three Horseshoes as an assistant manager into general manager for a prolonged period of time. And my partner, Hannah, she worked across the road at the other pub these guys had called the Hollybush. So I think it was end of New Year 2022, the previous family decided to sort of leave the reins and leave the industry. And Hannah let us know in advance, so we got wind very quickly of the Three Horseshoes and that it was going on the market. And it was always a pub we frequented anyway. It was a pub I worked in. We knew the pub inside out. And when the opportunity sort of came, we contacted Admiral Taverns so the rest is history, really.
Yeah, we put our hats in the ring. We knew, because it had been in the family for so long, that there was going to be a kind of a fist fight for the pub, because it's a beautiful building, beautiful site in a busy town, and we knew the remit was for people who were already owning a busy pub restaurant. So we felt, okay, we might be biting off more than we can chew here, but we got an interview. And then, like Tommy said, I guess the rest is history. Admiral loved our business plan, didn't they? They bought into us. We knew they took a punt on us, because although Tommy had worked in pubs and managed pubs, he hadn't owned a pub.
Yeah.
I had no industry background whatsoever. But we had a vision and the passion and a solid business plan.
And I think
as
Mike said, they took a punt on us, and I think they believed in what me, Mike, and our respective partners actually wanted to do. We were pub goers anyway. We've been mates for bloody decades, and we didn't really have the experience of ownership. It's very different going from working in a pub to actually owning a pub and the day in, day out runnings of it. So he took a punt, and well, here we are today. And I think they took the right punt, right?
I think so. We like to think so. Yeah, it was all theory. Everything we had was theory. Though it was 10 years in the making. We said we wanted to own a pub together one day, but it was all notes in books and ideas and brainstorms. But actually putting it into the real world of operating a pub day in, day out in a very, very tough climate was the area that we couldn't back that up in any way. So Admiral did take a huge punt on us, and we're eternally grateful that Paul Barnfather did that.
Absolutely, 100%.
Mike, you said that you haven't worked in hospitality before. How was it going from no experience to then running the place? Obviously you had Tommy with you to help, but how was that experience being so green in the business?
Just before Mike answered, I'd just say Mike doesn't really pour many pints at the pub. He's not very experienced in that. He's not very good at it either. And it's not his own fault. That's
horrendous. No, it was scary. It was daunting. Going into, I'm not old at all, but going into a totally new industry in my 40s was very daunting, having sort of no experience at all. But I've ran a business before, owned a business before. My wife's an accountant, so we from a commercial point of view, we feel very comfortable with what we're doing, and clearly running a pub is a commercial entity. So I don't per se work behind the bar or on the floor on a day-to-day basis. It's more a case of helping out when it's needed. But it was what we wanted to do, because although I hadn't run a pub or really worked in pubs, we love pubs. We spend a lot of time in pubs. We socialise there. We've got friends in the industry. And it's an industry I absolutely love. I remember growing up as a kid, going around with a really, really close mate of mine's father, who's unfortunately passed away now, but he used to sell meat to pubs, and I would always go out on his rounds when I was a kid, and I just loved it being in a pub environment when it was closed in the mornings and he's dropping stuff off there. So I've always been fascinated with it and wanted to do it one day.
Really, you had a supportive team with Tommy, with both of your partners, and you had a lot of transferable skills, if anything, that could help you run the business.
Absolutely, yeah. No, we said from day one, and we said it in our interview with Admiral Taverns, we felt we had a lot of skills that went into the middle to make it work.
Yeah.
Tommy had his hands-on experience in managing and working pubs. We had the business side of it, and then you put them all together, and we felt at the time that would be what was required. And it's turned out to be that way, and Admiral believed in that as well, didn't they? Because they could see those different skills coming together.
100%. When we had, with the four of us, we each do have our own set of skill set, level. Sorry. So Mike obviously had run businesses before. Amanda, Mike's wife, is an accountant. My partner Hannah is a little bit younger than me, so she had that more social media training and knew like all the trends, which I'm too old for that. So when the four of you combine and you create this like one entity, I feel that's why it worked.
100% it is, and I think that's why a lot of the stuff we've achieved has come from those skills going into the middle and that passion for what we do. I got a big background in events as well. I absolutely love organising events, so everything we do at the pub, we try to do it differently. We try to be very different from any pubs around in the area, and try and maybe reinvent how a pub looks nowadays. So our events aren't the same as anything else you'll see in the area, and we try and do some really, really cool high-level events and quirky events and get very, very different kind of guests there. Our music offerings are very, very different as well. Again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with what the other pubs and restaurants in our area do. They're all cool for what they do, but we will not copy that. We would do something different every single time. So yeah, that was another skill. And Tommy, hasn't worked in events, but he's very good at organising events, comes up with some really cool and quirky ideas. And again, I think it's one of the things that has become synonymous at the Shoes. People almost come to expect that events are of a very high calibre, and the charity stuff and things that are enjoyable and a bit different.
Yeah, I mean, I think the charity stuff we do was such a huge... I mean, I don't think initially it was probably a big thing we were planning to do, but as it naturally progressed, charity events have become huge for us, and we love running them, and being able to work with sort of sporting heroes and people like that, and actually people that really believe in it, and we believe in it as well. We've got the venue to do it. We've got the space to do these events. Yeah. So and giving that little bit back just makes it even more. Yeah, even more appreciable. I think.
A big part of our mission when we took the place over was to become a real community hub.
Yeah.
That was what it was all about for us. So a really safe place for people to be. A bit of an escape from real life sometimes. And then, although we wanted to do some charity stuff locally, it was very much on that lower level, tying in with the community vibe. Yeah. But that's when it, like you said, it really, really grew from there. We did one, and we got a real buzz when it was a mental health fundraiser. Unfortunately, a good friend of ours, their friend had taken their own life, and we said we wanted to do something to give something back to those guys, because it was a pretty crappy summer for them, really, wasn't it? So we did something. It was a fun event, but ultimately it was for a very, very great charity and a very sad cause. And then I think seeing the reaction from people locally made us think, okay, we need to do a lot more of this. Yeah. And then that same year we did a quirky take on Oktoberfest, didn't we, for one of our locals who's suffering with very advanced cancer. And we did an Oktoberfest event, and that really took off, didn't it?
Yeah, I think for the initial one we did it for Mind, and we called it Jake the Steak, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got Jake's a really good friend of ours, and again, he's one of the local gents passed away sadly, and we just did it based around steak for some reason.
Yeah.
So we got a big old tomahawk. But when we looked at it, I think we raised about $3,000, didn't we? But then I thought, £3,000 is a lot of money, and for a small pub to raise that sort of money that's pretty significant.
On a Sunday afternoon, when it rained all day.
Rain, yeah. It was just like, well, actually, people really do like this charity stuff, and they actually do want to help, and people don't mind putting their hand in the pocket if it's for a good cause. And then, as Mike said, we got into the following October, wasn't it? For
it's the same year, wasn't it?
Yeah. For Pauline, and Macmillan and Maggie Centre is a local charity in Oxford for her cancer. And I think we raised another $4 or $5 wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was like, if you put something on for people, and it's close to your heart, there's some sort of significance, people really don't mind.
No, they don't.
Helping.
And I'm sure a lot of small towns are very similar, but Whitney as a community, it's sort of 35,000 people in the town. It's not huge, but it's not a small village. They're really, really good at coming out to support local charitable events. They've always been good at it. I've been involved in events in the town over the years, and you just see how people come together, the outpouring of emotion and support. So we really started to see that ramping up in the pub, didn't we? And we thought, you know what, let's really go for this. Let's become a pub that's synonymous with charitable events and make a difference to the local community. And it has really done that, hasn't it? And
but I think that turnaround is, you don't get many. There's not loads of pubs that do this. They might put a little, do a little fundraiser or do whatever, but then the scale of it has just gone to next level. That's become synonymous with the Horseshoes. And when we say we try to be different, this is one of the aspects of the differentiation between us and other pubs.
So charity events with a twist, and to really, really sort of, I don't know, punch a hole in what these charities are trying to achieve by really, really raising some serious money for them. And we work a hell of a lot with our local food bank. They're not so much charity events, we just generally try to raise money and obviously get food to the food bank as well. So that's slightly different. And then things really ramped up again last year when we did a huge fundraiser for the Derby Rimmer Motor Neurone Disease Foundation. So that wasn't a local event as such, but it was motor neurone disease is becoming so relevant in the country right now, and we got approached by the charity to do an event with them by a local guy. So it started locally, but we bought into that one quite quickly when we didn't know a huge amount about motor neurone disease, did we? We'll be totally honest.
I think when Richard approached us, we sort of didn't really have much indication of what it was about. But Rob Burrow, who had just passed away, was in the
he was very
close,
very ill at that stage, wasn't he?
So and obviously he was a top rugby player, and that was all over Sky Sports and BBC News and things like that. And
so Kevin Sinfield, the sort of rugby league legend, he does all of his fundraising for the Derby Rimmer Foundation. He does these crazy ultra marathons, 7 in 7 days kind of thing. So it was so relevant at that time, and we thought, okay, we got a real opportunity here to do something for a seriously cool charity that we've been approached to do by a local guy. So that again took the whole things to a whole new level. And Marcus Stewart, sort of ex-Premier League footballer, who's
a bit of a hero, he was.
Is a massive hero of mine. He played for Ipswich. I'm a big Ipswich Town fan, so that was a bit of a no-brainer for us to work with them. But he's very, very sadly suffering with motor neurone disease, and the way he's tackled the disease, and I think in an interview once he said, I don't live with the disease, it lives with me. And it was just this insane positive approach to something so sad. And we thought, do you know what, we're going to put every ounce of energy we got into this. But we really tried to make it a local community event from the point of view, we invited Oxford United legends along to the event, so they're heroes to people in our town.
And I think we went through so many stages for this one, because it ended up being like colossal. And for those that don't know, MND, motor neurone disease, is an incurable disease. If you get what's the word? Sorry. If you get diagnosed with it, I'm getting old now. My memory, I can't even remember words anymore.
And you're asking someone who's 10 years old.
Sorry. Diagnosed with it, you're not going to survive. It might be a year, it might be 20 years. You don't know. And I think with something like that, it's even more prevalent, isn't it? To offer the support.
So we just really wanted to embrace that and do as much as we possibly could. And we raised nearly 20 grand on that night in a small pub in Witney. So I mean, we've sort of like gone off point with that a little bit there, but it was a really big deal to us, and I think it's one of the reasons why we are very different at what we do. We're not just opening the doors and just serving drink and food. We want to take everything to the whole new level and push it as far as we possibly can.
And the problem with me and Mike is we do go off on a tangent because we're passionate about it, right?
That's good.
We believe in it, and we talk about it because we're passionate. That's sort of one of the things that we both are, is really passionate about what we do. So
it's very clear that you value how much you put into the community, and you make yourselves a community hub with these events. And I feel like recently it is difficult to get people out, like you need an occasion to go out now. Obviously, it being a charity event is that push. What type of event are you throwing that gets people through the door, that gets people saying, that's really unique, no one else is doing this, I want to go visit?
Well, I mean, if we go back to the Oktoberfest events, I mean, they're quite a good example of being very, very different. So Oktoberfest is obviously commonly known as a German event.
The Oktoberfest German Beer Festival in September.
Yes, we did it in September, and well, no, so yeah, they celebrate in September, and we thought we're going to do it in October. But that was very different in itself because and this was Tommy's idea. We said, what can we do that's very different? The Oktoberfest celebrations are very close to the Day of the Dead celebrations in Mexico, and we just think that's a super cool festival.
Yeah.
And we kind of married the two together, didn't we? And we said, what could we do that's so different? And at the start of the evening, there are probably about 100 or so people outside having drinks because it was a really nice evening, even though it was October. And we booked a mariachi band for an Oktoberfest event. And they literally rocked up in some clapped out our car. I don't know if it was a Talbot Samba or a Corsa or something. And we'd asked them to do this and we didn't know if it would work. They rocked up in the car already wearing their huge sombreros.
Oh my God.
They had a little remote PA with them. No one knew what was coming apart from this. They just got out of the car and started playing. And everyone was like, what the hell is this in the middle of Whitney?
Yeah,
and they just stood there playing, and then they walked round every room in the pub and did a little set.
Oh my God.
Got in the car and disappeared.
But
that was it.
But it was just it was so unique because it encapsulated the people that were walking on the street. And Cornstreet, where the pub's situated, is a really busy little street. We call it Cornstreet Boulevard because in the summer and the sunshine, it's beautiful. You want to sit out there.
Mediterranean, isn't it?
Yeah, have a couple of shandies and a glass of wine, and it's really beautiful. So it was a lovely evening. So they got out and they started playing. So all the people that was walking down the street all stopped. So at one point, we've got a really cool picture in a room on a wall in one of the rooms, and it just shows the sheer amount of people that are watching this. And it was just a unique moment, wasn't it?
It was absolutely insane. And it's an annual event, the Oktoberfest, to raise money for the charities that Pauline and Adrian Dix sort of want us to work with. And last year we said, how can we differ that up again? And we booked a fire eater.
Oh wow!
So again, no one knew
the pub. No one knew it was coming.
She just went outside the pub and just started like juggling fire and eating fire. And again, it was the same principle, isn't it? Everyone just stopped like, what is going on here?
Yeah, so we just try and do something different with all events rather than just being what you might expect. If you go to a charity event, you might expect a raffle or an auction, which is cool. It's predominantly how you make your money.
Yeah.
And we make donations, but we always want to throw stuff in that's just different. Like with that motor neurone disease event, we had Oxford United legends come along, and it was people didn't necessarily expect it to be that high level.
I don't think anyone expected it to go to where it went to.
And then very famous footballer Graham Souness turned up to that event. So again, it was that was slightly out of our control. That one, we can't take any credit for that, but he came along. He's one of the most famous footballers in the world.
But that was surreal because again, everyone's enjoying the event, drinks outside, lovely weather, and then like a lot of people's like footballing hero. I mean, Souness is to a level what kind of Beckham was in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
To a level.
Yeah.
You know, high quality. He managed big teams. You know, captain big teams, and he really was. You know, captain Liverpool, captain Scotland. He really was, and the upper echelons of an icon.
He went off to play in Italy, didn't he? He was one of the first ones to ever do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he has significance in the world of football. You know, and obviously me and Mike are big sports fans. So for us, and it was the same principle like the mariachi band, like the fire eater. Graham Souness just turned up in his car, parks up, gets out his car, and everyone's like, holy hell.
Who that?
What is that Graham Souness?
That's Graham Souness.
Yeah, literally. And people are stopping him in the street.
And he just had a suit bag with him and he just trotted into the pub.
Signing autographs, taking pictures.
Oh
it was incredible, wasn't it?
And we've actually from there, which we'll talk about later, we've developed a relationship with Graham from that, which is super, super exciting based on a charity event again. So yeah, to answer your question in a roundabout way, we just like to do stuff differently, and they're the kind of things we'll do. So every time we say we're going to do an event, whether it be a normal event or a charity event, what can we do that's just a little bit different from the norm to make it exciting, make it fun for people? Hospitality, and it's meant to be fun.
Is that a little bit daunting? Do you feel like you have to keep upping what happened last year? Do you know what you're going to do this year, or you haven't decided yet?
Do you know what? It's been a bit busy.
Can't imagine why.
It's been a bit busy. So we'll come up with we'll come up with something.
We got a few irons in the fire with the Oktoberfest, haven't we? But
always.
With that, it's quite a sensitive area, and we like to work really closely with Pauline and Adrian. So we like it to be, that one's is more of a sort of a team effort,
collab,
isn't it? Collab on that, So, but no.
I remembered a word. Yeah.
Speaking about why you've been so busy, I imagine it's because you've gotten so much press recently since you've won Licensee of the Year award. How was that, being on stage and winning and hearing your name?
Wow, it was the most. We've probably retold this story hundreds of times, not just in interviews, just to friends and family.
Yeah.
That was, we had. It's fair to say we had zero expectation of winning that. When we found out we got to the semi-finals, we did say if we get to the final, that is the win for us. And we, hands on heart, that's what we meant.
Yeah.
If we can get to the final 6 and get to that process at Sky TV, and then obviously the summer event, that is an absolute win. During the process on the Monday, we went through every emotion possible. Like, we haven't got a chance. Why are we even here? Through to, we answer a couple of questions. In our opinion, we fought really well. Oh, we might have a chance here. Then it went back to no chance. At the end of the day, we didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
We both had in our minds who we thought might win and who we wanted to win.
Yeah.
So every part of it, there was zero expectation. So to get there on that day, I remember, I'll never forget it, when obviously they asked everybody up on stage, and we all got our trophy for being a finalist. We were kind of last in the process all the way on the judging on the Mondays and everything. So when we got up last, I said to Tommy, I said, congratulations, bro, we've done it. Or you might have said it to me, I don't know which way round. And I was at that stage more worried about falling off the edge of the stage because we were last up, so we were stood right near the end, and we were just sort of congratulating each other. And then,
obviously the other applicants as well, the other finalists were some high class operators.
They were phenomenal.
Absolutely high class, and we still speak to them now and things. But we generally, like Mike said, I had no expectation. I was just drinking all day. I was just enjoying the day. Probably enjoying it a little bit too much.
Well, we were there. Well, we said to ourselves on the Monday, whatever we do here, we'd be ourselves and enjoy it. We thought if we get wrapped up in nerves during the judging on the Monday, we're not going to be ourselves.
Yeah.
And then if we had any chance of getting anywhere with it, we needed to give a true representation of what we were and what the pub was. So we tried to be and we tried to stay with that on the Tuesday. We got to the Royal Artillery and we thought, man, this is cool. This is a cool venue.
I mean, one thing we have to sort of say before we continue is absolute massive shout out to the BII and everyone for putting that sort of event on, because I've never been to anything
like that
of that caliber.
And the guys at Sky were class as well, weren't they?
The whole 2 days, apart from being like Mike said, a bit nerve wracking, a bit daunting. The actual summer event was like, I've never been to anything like that before.
No, that was totally next level.
It was amazing, and kudos to the BII for putting those sort of things on, because it was we just had the best time.
Big time, yeah. And I think that reiterated our view when we got there, and we were like, wow, what have you guys put on? We'd totally forgotten about the actual awards at that point.
We were just
like, this is cool.
Just saying that, being like, we're going to enjoy this day, this massive opportunity to.
We got a bit of time away from work. We're going to enjoy this. We're going to have quite a few beers.
Yeah, and some of us enjoyed it a bit too much.
Yeah, embrace it and get to chat to other people in the industry. There were a few people there we knew from Admiral, etc. So we just said we're going to enjoy it, but all the way along, I mean, I guess as the meal went on, I guess the nerves kicked in slightly, because you're thinking, well, we got a 1 in 6 chance. But when that moment happened, although we nearly missed it because we were congratulating ourselves just making it to the finals, those words we'll never ever forget. It was a surreal and bizarre moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was more prevalent because from the start we've always said we never set out. You can all these awards. There's an alleyway into the award, whether that be you apply yourself or someone nominates you, and it wasn't within our interest, was it? We were too busy concentrating on what we were doing with the charities and the community and the food bank
and running the pub
and looking after our staff to sort of consider putting ourselves forward for these things. So to get that recognition without expecting it,
seeking it
was even more, So I think when, like Mike said, when they said, and the winner is Mike Dervin Higgs Free Horseshoes, it was just a very weird moment. And I think I remember walking up to Steve, and I just kept saying, "Are you effing kidding me?" And I must have said it about 11 times. And he was like, "No, you've done it."
You did swear a lot that day.
I did swear a lot that day. Yeah. I've got a potty mouth. I can't help it.
It's quite funny because I'm the one with the bad language. Generally,
you wouldn't have guessed
not
from
that day. I had to play good cop.
Yeah. That's Mike's PR training. Now,
But that, I mean, again, going back to that, I mean, probably whether you're touching on the speech, but I don't know. But that was from the heart, and that was passion. Every single thing we said was passion and belief, and a little bit of anger about how the industry is being treated. So I think when I spoke first, and when I stood back and I was listening to Tommy, I also took a moment to look out at the audience. I didn't realise quite how big it was until that stage, because we were sat at the front for the dinner, And then you get up, and I looked back and I thought, wow. And yeah, when Tommy did get very, very emotional and he swore, it wasn't swearing for the sake of swearing.
Yeah.
It was because he was damn angry
And
about what's
passionate.
happening and
Yeah.
passionate about what we do. And then I just saw people's faces. Every single person was behind that and support.
Yeah.
I just saw nodding heads, clapping, smiling. So I think it was quite a light bulb moment when you see everybody is behind, not necessarily us,
Yeah.
but what we're trying to achieve as an industry. And I think that's the important thing. So it was pure passion that was coming out.
Oh yeah, passion and Hofmeister is what was coming out.
Yeah.
But
Hofmeister had a lot to answer for that day, didn't it?
damn you, Hofmeister.
I want a pair of sunglasses back from them. Mine snapped on holiday.
But yeah, it's just because you use an expletive doesn't mean you're an idiot or anything. It's just the passion and the way it comes out. And this is what I've done all my life. 25 years of working since I was 14 years old, working in hospitality industries, and it's what I love. It's what I'm passionate about. It's what I care about. And yeah, it might have been a bit triggering. It might have been a bit non-PG, but I meant every word. And me and Mike now, all the interviews we go through, we talk about it, and it's obviously become a little bit synonymous. But that wasn't the aim. It was just because I was so fueled up with adrenaline and alcohol and and having the best time. Yeah. And the unbelievable thing is that we won. Yeah. I still can't believe we won that. And it's huge kudos to us to, evidently our business model and everything we do.
And our team is
and our
stunning.
Team and our partners and everything.
Nothing happens without Amanda and Hannah and our team, end of. And I think the other thing, there was so much passion because we had zero expectation of winning. We clearly hadn't written a speech or anything. There was no expectation to even need that and think about it. So everything we said up there just immediately came from the heart. And I think that's when you say the best things and the right things, because it's not scripted.
After summer event and after winning and experiencing that, coming back to the pub, coming back home to your team, how was that? Was there I imagine there was a huge response just to winning and the speech. Yeah. How was it feeling bringing back that trophy to your team?
Yeah.
It's pretty humbling, wasn't it?
It's very humbling, yeah. We had the team waiting for us when we got back, bottle of champagne ready, even though we couldn't probably drink it because I definitely had too much. But everyone believes in what we're doing. That's why we've got great staff retention. Yeah. The staff believe in it. The customers believe in it. They know this industry is really tough. Ever more so prevalent at the moment, and I'm sure we'll touch on that shortly. But it's important to stay humble, like we always have been. But I think if the people around you believe in what you're doing, then you're definitely doing something right.
Yeah, and they can see what we're doing. They can see how much we care. So I mean, that day of the awards, there was a load of our locals in there watching it on a laptop. Yeah. And we've seen the videos that was so cool, and the majority of them were still there that night when we got back. And that was a lovely thing, flowers and drink and everything. That was again, that was a moment we probably won't forget, although at that stage we'd had obviously a drink, but we were exhausted, emotionally exhausted. Yeah. We just wanted to have a quick drink and get back home.
It's a long 2 days.
Yeah.
And you just need to go back to your family, that's.
And it was the same as when we left the HAC, when we went to the pub that you guys all go to. That was a totally surreal moment with sort of hundreds of people outside drinking. When we got in the taxi, I'll never ever forget that moment as long as I live. It was so cool to.
It's kind of almost like that little moment. You do feel like a little bit of a celebrity, even though it might be like Z listed or whatnot. But you do feel a little bit on cloud nine. And people, it was just an amazing couple of days.
It was very emotional. It was probably a handful of you guys that we got to meet, and nobody else there. We had a clue who they were, but when they were all cheering when we got in the taxi, I thought, okay, this is quite a cool moment, and we're going to make the most of this to make a difference in the industry. Yeah. I mean, we just got to get on and do our job and keep working and keep pushing the boundaries for our pub and our town. But then with this award, if it gives us a degree of a voice, and we'll try and make one hell of a difference in this industry over the next 12 months. So,
and the thing is, like Mike said, when we got back on this is the sort of the humbling aspect of it. When we got back on Tuesday and sort of the dust had settled, we were up Wednesday. Mike was cleaning the pub. Yeah. I was on shift in the kitchen, and it was back to normal.
And you had to take your cats to the vet, didn't you?
The cat had to go to the vet. But it was just like back to normal. Yeah. So it was hard. I think even now we still have to take a minute, and when you finally get a few seconds to sit back and take a breath and go, actually, this did happen. Actually, we should be really proud of ourselves for this. Yeah. Because you just go back into it. It's just natural, isn't it? You're back to work. Yeah. You're back to running the pub again, 24/7.
Yeah. We touched slightly on staff and currently what's happening, obviously with a lot of changes and the costs and difficulties that pubs are facing, how are you managing, how are you looking after your staff, making sure that you can keep business afloat or thriving as much as you can? How are you finding that?
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a daily challenge.
It's a daily challenge, but we've learned a lot over the past 2.5 years of how we operate our business from a financial factor, haven't we?
Yeah, we've learned so much.
We spend a lot of time, working on rotas, and a big part of our training development is cross-training staff to work in different areas. We went from, in 2023-24, we had 28 members of staff, and now we're down to about 19.
Yeah.
I think it's less now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Liv's gone,
left,
so
yeah.
we've got about 18 people now, so
Yeah.
almost cut our staff by half. Excuse me. Now, that's not firing people or, people not good enough. People have naturally
gone to uni or things like that.
Yeah.
Moved away or got different jobs or whatever they need to do in their careers. But we've been able to utilise the staff that we have and cross-training, and they've all got better, like amazingly better.
Oh, yeah.
And we can run those busier shifts on smaller numbers now.
And there's no compromising
There's no
service.
compromising on service.
Yeah.
And myself and Hannah have retrained, and we're like kitchen assistants and chefs now, so we can work in the kitchen. So it gets rid of that need for an additional chef, which is a huge cost saving. And through those methods, we've just been able to streamline that side of the costs.
Yeah.
But
that's the main area. That's the main. We're constantly managing, sort of challenging supplier costs all the time.
Yeah.
Which is something that is a daily. The cash flow is a daily job. Managing that cash flow, and the staff costs, supplier costs. They're the big areas. But look, it's not beat around the bush. There's only so many costs you can cut before you start compromising on service, and that's non-negotiable. That will not happen for us ever. It is now to a level where we need that help.
Yeah.
Well, not just we. The industry needs that help from the government, because it's the big things that will make a major difference to really kickstart this industry.
Yeah.
Everybody is screaming from the rooftops about that's where we need that help. We feel we're nearly at a ceiling of what we can do before, as I said, we compromise our service and the level of what we do. So yeah, that's where we're at, really.
yeah, and I think it's ever prevalent now in the news. We're seeing people pop up on television and newspapers and social media and internet. It's not, we're beating the drum, and so to sound, and people are pricking their ears up, they're listening, and it's becoming very, very evident. I mean, Michael threw off a couple of figures, didn't you? You found out the other day about the job losses and things.
Since the budget last year, 89,000 jobs are gone in the hospitality industry, and that was 53% of all job losses across the country, just from hospitality. And it's clear. It's clear what needs to change. The cut in the VAT is very apparent. The NIC contributions, the business rates. Our business rates went through the roof this year. Energy costs. It's just, I mean,
stuff that's out of our control.
Fairer taxes, but the cut in the VAT is the one that will really make a difference. But that, I don't want to make this political, but they really need to step up and stop talking about it. And if I hear one more time them saying they care about the industry, they clearly can't when they're not actually making a difference. All they're doing is hindering it. They're actually killing it. And that's.
Well, but I think the figures that you've been shouting about and the figures we read in media is proving that.
Yeah.
It's proving that they're not helping the industry. And I think I said at the summer event, that the Great British Pub is part of our fabric. It's an institution. It's people travel, tourists from all over the world to visit the Great British Pub because it's a unique thing.
Yeah.
Without it.
Well, this country's a very, very sad, lonely place. And it ties in with us trying to create community hubs. How many thousands of pubs around the country are trying to create community hubs? You tell me that the suits in Parliament don't like going to a nice pub or restaurant and having some drinks and food. So you tell me they don't like that. Well, they're actually trying to kill the very thing that they like being a part of as well. Maybe not as a regular drinker or something, but everybody loves the Great British Pub. And if they're not careful, they're going to kill the very thing that's so important to this country.
I mean, it's very prevalent. I mean, not only just me and Mike with the Horseshoes and what we do with the charity events. I had the the luxury of going to visit Mickey, one of the other finalists at his pub in Clewer, the Swan, and they're a big community pub. They've won Community Pub of the Year, voted again for the National Pub Awards again, and they've got stuff like a sixth form college on the site. They go and do things there. I mean, what they do to the community is incredible.
Next level, isn't it? Yeah.
We like to do what we do, but they do what they need to do as well. And so that's, if there's just two of us that we can think of now, I mean, there's hundreds, thousands of people that do this for their communities. Sadly, if the rises, price rises continue, VAT doesn't get decreased, NI, utilities, business rates, so there's no help for us in it. Sadly, these community places, spaces, hubs, give it 2 years, they won't be here.
Yeah.
And a busy pub, a very busy pub, and we are a very, very busy pub, it doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't translate to profit. So we always, part of our business model is to be affordable, good value for money. But with prices rising all the time, you can't go and do that again there, because then you're not affordable, you're not good value for money.
And you can't just keep passing the cost back to the customer, because the end it won't come in.
And then suddenly, if we're not there tomorrow, 19 people don't have a job. Our thousands and thousands of pounds we spend a month on our suppliers, that's gone. Those suppliers are missing out. It's our cleaners, it's the charities we've raised money for. That money, where's that money? That's not coming from us to them, and we're just one pub. Yeah. The knock-on effect is massive. It just upscales to everybody, and we're one pub.
But I think if any member of the government, they're probably not going to listen to us, but they won't forget us, is what I've always said. But we do need help.
Yeah.
As an industry, we need help, and we need it soon.
Yeah, and we did say this when we spoke to somebody last week. We don't mean this in an arrogant way, but we will come in like a bit of a wrecking ball in the next 12 months, but in a constructive, sensible way. But like you said, they won't forget us, because we want to try and have a voice for the industry to help it, because we care about it so much, and everybody else does who runs their respective pubs and restaurants around the country. That help is desperately needed, and the time for talking is kind of long gone.
Yeah, I think the unique thing about the hospitality industry is because it's so 24/7. Like, once you clock off, you don't go home and stop thinking about the pub. The pub is your life, so that's what makes it so much more difficult, because you can't disconnect. You can't just up and leave.
No,
it is your life, and it affects everything, personal, professional. It affects your team.
Yeah.
In multiple ways, not just financially, mentally. So it's a very difficult time to be in, but hopefully...
It is, but it's fun at the same time.
Yeah.
So we know we've got a responsibility to our team. We don't just employ them to make the pub successful. We really care about these people. We invest in them. That's another thing, going back to it. With where it is at the minute, we can't grow, and we can't build, and we can't invest in anything. But we do that with blood, sweat and tears to invest in our team.
Yeah.
We've been on training courses. They have constant in-house training. We really care about those guys. So it doesn't stop. We feel very, 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 very responsible to them.
I think what you were saying about sort of a 24/7 thing, there was a quote always said to me, you probably spend more time in hospitality with your work colleagues than you do with your family.
Yeah.
So the team to us are an extended family.
Of course they are, yeah.
We care for each other, we look after each other, our door is always open. Me and Mike always say, if you need to get hold of us, there's a small window you can't. It's between midnight and 4 a.m. Anytime before or after that, there's going to be one of us around.
I get up stupid o'clock in the morning, but I'm useless. I fall asleep early, and then Tommy's a night bird, so he's always up. So, but we are always there for our team, whether it just be for a chat or they're feeling a bit low. We don't switch off. And when we do go home, I get home and Manda and I are talking about accounts for the pub and looking at the cash flow, looking at projections, where we can save money. So it never ends, and you're the same.
Yeah, we'll be working on social media videos
or rotas
or events or rotas or
it literally is never ending.
Just never ends.
But we love it.
Yeah, that's the most important part.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.